I'm gonna call our planning agency to order for the month of March. We have 2 out of the 3 agents here. And so we have a quorum. And now, did you say Allison is coming or is not
I expected her, but we can proceed.
coming? Okay. I can say that we've had the roll call and determined the quorum. We'll start with the projects, and the first one is the town of Fort Edward. It's a referral from the planning agency. The project under the town of Fort Edward Planning Board under consideration for site plan approval. Application is Community Power Group. Now, Dan, would you like to take over from here?
Sure. This is a project that was brought to the planning agency on November 26, 2024 for its area variance, and it's coming before us as a site plan approval. It's for a 5 megawatt solar facility, and the reason for its review is it's 500 feet of 2 municipal boundaries, the village of Fort Edward and Saratoga County and Agricultural District 6. The description is as it was from the last time we saw it. I checked in with the planning board clerk, and she confirmed that the site plan hasn't changed much, but there's a couple of things that we have extra that we didn't have that in November, and one would be that we have this stormwater management plan. And the EAF, she said, had not changed, but we now have a full EAF, whereas prior we had just the initial EAF. And we have a set of construction documents, which you have there folded up in paper. And we don't have as complete a set. We have, but I have brought the set from November in case anybody wants to make reference to it. I just want to also say that in the packet, I've included the SWMPP table contents as reference. I have it on my computer in case it's about 300 and something 80 pages, so I didn't print it out. But I have it here in case anybody wanted to refer to it. And there's also documents in the back of the packet from the referral that like the introduction and project description and some comments or communication that indicates some of the things that may have been looked at since we've seen this last and may have changed. So that's an introduction to this project.
Now, with 5 megawatts, and this has always been an issue with me, and in our town, we're putting it in our language of our regulation ordinance on this. Is one, there's 2 ways these are built, or they're talked about. One is DC and AC. One is 5 megawatt, I'm assuming is AC, because that would make it 7 megawatt DC. And usually that's the size they build, and it really, somehow they ought to standardize this so that you know what you're dealing with. So, not that it's a big deal one way or the other, but I'm assuming this is a 7 megawatt DC, 5 megawatt AC. But they don't ever specify.
Yeah, that's what they need.
Now this must be what, bordering the Hudson River to be 500 feet of Saratoga County?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I created a buffer map on the November submission, and they're using the same one.
Tim, do you have any questions or concerns?
Just 2. Pamela, 1, I don't believe I see any battery storage, correct?
That's correct. There's no indication of battery storage.
Okay. And two, I see they know, relative to their stormwater management plan that they did submit to the fire department for approval of site access and turnarounds. Do we pass anything back to them that they should, include the fire department in a review of the plans and any discussion relative to a run through with shut-offs relative to local operations of that? Have we done that in the past?
I don't think so, but
I think that's a good point.
it's possible that we could write a comment on that.
Yeah, if we do, or if we haven't, I'd like to send that back. At least with those notes that they should be considering that with the local fire department, since they'll be the first ones there, provided there is some kind of emergency there.
Good point. Tim, have you had any experience with any other sites where they're having small sites of the state coming out with any recommendations on what kind of equipment or how a fire department is supposed to deal with this? If there is a fire?
No recommendations. That's the hardest part, is not every site's the same. That's why I think it's so important that the engineers, as we talked about, unrelated to this, but some of the battery storage stuff, it's so important that we talk with the engineers that are designing these things to talk about relative needs to the site, what support needs are needed outside of that from local resources. Because if it's anything specialty, it may not exist. But a lot of these, they're building to be self-contained. This obviously with no battery storage is similar to many of those that are out there, but they're all a little bit different, where shutoffs are, like where the feed runs back to. Those things are super important to the first responders that are gonna arrive on scene there. And it's not something, it's great that you have it in a plan, but if the locals don't know that and then if they haven't participated in it, a plan's great on a shelf, right? We need to make sure that the first people showing up know what to do when they get there. Other than those concerns, I don't have anything else that I see off the top of that, but I would like to send those back as notes. But other than that,
Comments.
yes.
All right, it was a lot of words, so when you make the motion, you restate the comment and I'll.
Let me think about this. I would like to make a motion that it's a matter of local concern that we refer it back with the notation that they discuss or at least review with the fire department any concerns they have local to operations.
I'm wondering, and I'll second that motion. I'm wondering, is there a master shut off on these?
Typically, there is a master shut off.
And should that building or that panel should it be required that, I mean, I know it's going back to the town, be required label that building or that box master shut off so that it can be identified quickly when the fire department comes on scene? I'm actually thinking about adding that to ours because we're working on one. Any thoughts on that? I mean, you think
It should be, but it should be standard. When you get into other terms, obviously, there's a lot of things that aren't regulated around these things, or it differs depending on where you are. But it should be for the benefit of those people showing up, having to shut that off in an emergency. 9 times out of 10, the first people there are gonna be the fire department or local first responders, not somebody from the operation. That's why it's so important to talk about familiarization with the site, especially when it's up and running for the locals, because it's very often that the first people there are not gonna be somebody who built it or who maintains it on a regular basis.
typically in a hydro site where there's electricity being manufactured, if you get a call out, the owners of the hydro site, it will take from anywhere from a half hour to an hour and a half to arrive because they're covering districts, the servicemen. So, yeah, I mean, first responders are always going to be the first ones on site. So, I think that's all good input.
So I'm gonna just read this back one more time.
Sure.
So to find the project to be a matter of essentially local concern, with the comment that the board the local planning board discuss review with the fire department, that would include should include the fire department to discuss local conditions and procedure. Did I catch?
That's perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Emily, you want to take care of the next one? Start it.
Second one, final one for this is a project under the Town of Kingsbury Planning Board consideration for site plan approval. The applicant is Thomas Robinson, Why Not Services. Address is 3518 Burgoyne Avenue in County Route 37. And this is a project submitted for the storage of commercial refuge removal company vehicles in a shed. And the purpose of the GML review is that it's 500 feet of County Route 37 and New York State Route 196. And there's a letter in the packet by the applicant that describes some FAQs to describe what it is that he's storing. So I make reference to that as you know of this. And on the back of the second page of the notes that I hand out, there's some site view of the driveway and the road. So the context.
The Kingsbury Planning Board approved it. Move it here. Is that?
Oh, no, they can't approve the project until it comes to the planning agency.
I thought that they don't make a recommendation or say that they're in favor of it.
No, they have, and if they have the public hearing before it comes before us, they have to leave it open.
So we,
Or actually, we don't make decisions, we actually do reports and recommendations.
so either we sign off not knowing anything about what the operation is and leave it all to the planning board, or unless we have concerns over what's presented to us, right? Is what you're saying. And you said that, did I hear you right, stating that we don't know what they're storing there?
No, I said that I pointed you to the letter so that you can see what type of trucks that they intend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, I missed this. And now has county DPW, they looked at this and is there any issues for entering or exiting on the county behalf, on the county portion of
I
the?
didn't hear from them, but I think I could send it forward to their department.
Now, in our town, if a business is going to, or even a home is going to have a driveway on a county road, we require them to get county approval for that driveway. Now, how does it work here with this? Do they don't have to get a driveway permit from the county for this?
The permitting that they need for this is something that they would have to work with their code enforcement person, so they
And if it's
remember
on,
seeing the permitting in their county road. But it is one of their considerations is to be able to move forward. They would have to determine whether or not they need, what permits are needed.
and if in our town, if the driveway is on a state road, then we require the state to provide some letter or permit that says that that is the right place. They let the state determine where the entrance should be for that business. Now, that's how
Right,
we.
so this is an existing entry and exit, so not sure that they're building they're not building anything new to enter and exit, so I don't know if permit is needed, because I don't know that business of the.
Oh, there's
code
an
enforcement.
existing business there?
There's an
So it's
existing
just a
shed.
change?
Yeah, there's an existing shed and an existing driveway, and they want to store their vehicles in and behind them, and their equipment behind the buildings.
So is this kind of what you call a change of use? Is that really what this is?
Well, in this case, a plan review, we're not looking at it for zoning purposes, so it would, the change of use, I don't know what it was used for before, it was a storage building for, it looked like with garages, you know, so.
Right,
So.
and the garage can store about anything.
Right, so I'm
From
not
a
sure
buggy to a
what it was
lawnmower.
used for before.
So really, I don't see where it's any of our concern to you. If it's already an established some type of business there.
So I don't see where it's anything other than a matter of local concern. I think a couple of the concerns that I would have, or at least notations that I would make, sending it back is there's residential property immediately on either side of this, very close to houses on either side. And two, if they're talking about storing two refuse removal, so trash trucks, sounds like. There's also in the FAQs, Pamela, some talk about pest control trucks and two personal vehicles there on a daily basis. So depending on anything else that they may add there, if the pest control trucks are stored there in addition to two refuse trucks, plus you'll have the two personal vehicles in and out of there. A lot of vehicles pretty close to that. I mean, obviously that would be a matter of local concern that we can take out, but at least to take into consideration those things.
All right, so okay.
Certainly that's a busy stretch of Burgoyne Avenue. So I would make the motion that it's a matter of local concern with those notations. Do you want me to restate them or we're good? With the notation that.
No, you don't need to restate them. I just don't know how
I
I
need
would
it,
stick.
I need it in order to write.
Just because it's local concern.
I don't have any conditions, just
I-
notations to take into
Okay.
consideration.
Okay, I can do that. No notations. Just notations, no conditions. I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Does that satisfy your agenda that you put together, Pam, or do you have one more?
Nope, that satisfies that, the business of the planning agency. There's just a couple of notices that have been sent to us from the ASA. My papers and stuff here. We saw this, the first, January 28th, meeting, for a project, where the, reminder project in the town of Putnam on Craig Road, low intensity resource management, 2-lot subdivision and merger. The application is now completed and it's still open for public comment. And then the second, Adirondack Planning Agency notice is conditionally improved certification for replacement of certain utility poles under general permit. No, it's construction of single family dwellings, that. On New York State Route 22, head of Lake Champlain. And then there we have 2 reports of final action. Town of Granville Planning Board sent back golf repair to complete the loop, and project that was reviewed November 26, 2024, and the local board approved action for this project. And another project came before the planning agency January 28, 2025 this year. And that was for Cloverdale, Kevin O'Brien's commercial food trailer, and the local board approved action for this project. So those we did the cycle. That's it.
Okay. Any questions or comments, concerns? Anyone here publicly will have any concerns or comments they want to make? Meeting adjourned.